So look at this absolute bourgeois American nonsense. Back in March 2020, this lady responded to users on X saying that today I met someone who thinks that there is an advantage in being a woman in the gaming industry. She stated, well, there is. Studios are on a push to be seen. And this is the important part, right? Like, to be seen. It doesn't matter if they are or not. It's all about appearances. It's all about, like, to be seen as inclusive. I won't name the studio, but I was at a studio where they genuinely considered doubling the finder's fee if the hire was female. And we all know about this. I mean, this is something that they're outspoken about. It's not a hidden secret or anything. But the interesting thing is what comes after. This was vetoed after some protests, but it does show how by good or bad intentions, some people will always see another that isn't white male as a diversity hire. Imagine humans being humans, right? How ridiculous that is for the left. If human beings act like human beings do, that is unacceptable. I mean, let's look at my country, where you have nepotism. If at a company you get a relative of the boss, like the boss's son works at the factory, do you not think it is reasonable for people to believe that the reason that the boss got the position is because he is the boss's son? Do you not think that is the same in politics? It's like when Bush Jr. decided to become a politician. Didn't people assume, well, he is a politician because he is part of the Bush dynasty? Or when the Clinton decided to go in, it's like, well, you're part of the Clintons. Like, nepotism is a thing, right? So why do you honestly think that when in America, companies go, if you hire a woman, we will double your finder's fee, and you have this entire culture and this entire push where you treat people of color like the spice melange, and you're basically considering that from a percentage point of view, like on a statistic or an audit, it actually looks better if you have more of the spice melange. Why are you shocked when people are saying, yeah, maybe you hire that person because of the check boxes? Because notice how this doesn't happen in Japan, right? Like, this doesn't happen in South Korea, where you have female creators that are making amazing mangas, that are creating amazing video games, and no one, absolutely no one, is saying, oh, she got the job because she's a woman. In fact, the only people that complain seem to be American journalists that usually go, it's like, oh my god, this manga is so misogynistic. Oh, what? Only a man, only an incel could create something like this. And then it turns out that it's actually a woman that created it. But of course, Japan and South Korea do not have like the diversity quotas. They actually have a meritocracy where you can create something, and if it's good, people buy it. I mean, we do live in 2024. You can literally start your own project. You do not need to be hired by a AAA corporation. You got crowdfunding, you got Patreon, you got like all this networking, all this ability to just create your own stuff on social media. And if it's actually good, then people buy it. You do not need to beg from a multi-billion-dollar corporation to hire you. And there's another reason, by the way, why everyone assumes that if you're like an American spice melange, you're a diversity hire. And that is because when you have a woman that doesn't actually partake into the ideology, like when you have someone like Gina Carano, which has different takes on social media, she immediately gets fired. She immediately, like, no one is going to say that Gina Carano was hired because she is a woman, right? Because you notice that the moment that they step out of line, they immediately get fired. So it's just nepotism, pure and simple. It's not about hiring minorities or hiring women or hiring talented people. It's hiring the same ideology, hiring the same clique, the same networking. We already noticed Grooms exposed how community managers get hired at these companies. They sit on Discords, they promote each other, and they force each other to have the same talking points. Because if you don't have the same talking points, if you do not insult the customer, if you do not show disgust and you're not being disparaging towards the gamers, then they stop promoting you. Then they exclude you from the network. It is 100% nepotistic in nature. So she goes on and she says that games industry is an industry where there is no room for slack or not being good at your job. Yeah, no, I spoke with many AAA people that are saying that this is not the case. For instance, I spoke with someone that worked at Blizzard, and he was talking about how they were crunching in order to get the new patch for World of Warcraft coming up, while the marketing team and the diversity officers and the legal department were going on to have a vacation at Disneyland. Just because you're like within the gaming industry and you're working there doesn't mean that your job is the same like someone else. I would say that the developers are the ones that work the most and they're treated like slaves. Like if you're crunching the numbers and you're staying at the company to 2 a.m., you cannot compare that job with the community manager or a diversity officer that just like sends a couple of emails and has a couple of retreats where they're holding seminars that no one even wants to be there. So no, like I disagree with this, and not to mention, there's no room for slack. You're talking as if the gaming industry is renowned for excellence in 2024, when most of the games are coming out and they're broken at launch, when you need day one patches to even be able to play the shit that you're paying $70 for. No, I completely disagree. Like, this does not show the reality of what I know from the people who actually work in the industry. So, she then wrote that women in their jobs are fantastic. No, I disagree with this overwhelming statement. It's like saying men in their job are fantastic. That's not the case. There are good men and there are bad men. There are good women and there are bad women. If you're going to start with the assumption that all women are fantastic, I'm going to assume that you're full of shit. Just like if you were to say that all men are fantastic. No, that's not the case. Like, human beings are individuals. Some are better than others. Now, this is a very interesting tweet of hers, which happens in 2020, and I need to brush up people's memory a little bit, because this happens when the official PlayStation Twitter account is caught in a controversy, where they're basically saying that they want to support Black Lives Matter in any way, and someone goes, well, how about paying the bail required for the people that are in prison? And the PlayStation account basically starts flirting with the idea, like they're starting to entertain it, like, let's see what we can do about it. So it goes without saying that people were enraged, right? Like, you're having a person that's burning down a business, that's destroying property, and they get arrested. So now you have PlayStation bailing them out so they keep destroying the mom and pop stores. Like, there's a little bit of a conflict of interest between a multi-billion-dollar corporation paying bailout money so that people can go out and keep destroying the small companies, right? And this was like a thing that happened in 2020 America. And obviously, like, people were upset, but apparently this lady wasn't. She's like, racist gamers boycott PlayStation over BLM moves. Racist gamers realize that Xbox and other platforms also support BLM. Racist gamers boycott gaming. I would like to point out that the BLM organization turned out to be very corrupt, and all the money that was donated to it ended up being funded either to Democrats or the leaders of BLM brought mansions and stuff. And again, like, the people that are supporting this and the people that are pushing for this have zero accountability. Like, no one is going to hold them accountable. And not even that, like, their prestige doesn't take a hit. Like, if you say something stupid in public, which was it turned out to be absolutely ridiculous, and you don't apologize for it, you still get to say dumb shit in the future. Like no one is ever going to hold you accountable. Like, this is the American culture, where you can say dumb stuff in public, and the ship will keep believing you regardless if over the years, like 40 years later, it turns out that everything that you said was false or you were misleading people. So here you have like another one, a note on Arkham Games. Cobblepot goes from American to British. That's refreshing. Deadshot goes from white to black. Internet screams in the dick. I personally do not like any type of changes to established characters. Characters are intellectual property. They're kind of like a brand. I wouldn't want Batman to become blonde with blue eyes either. There's no reason to do this. There's absolutely no justification. It's just bad storytelling. So yeah, no, like, it's perfectly fine that the internet gets upset. But what she doesn't notice is that when Ariel becomes black, right, in the new Disney, they casted the black Ariel, and you have a Japanese artist drawing her as white, and that Japanese artist gets death threats and gets harassed by the leftist intellectuals, she doesn't notice that. Like, she has no comments to say about that. And that's just one off. Like, there's many examples where you have Japanese artists that race swap a character and the left freaks out. And, unlike the right, which just boycott and go like, yeah, we're not going to see that movie. No, the left does doxing, death threats, life ruination type of things. And for some reason, there is not a single call out from the progressives. They just don't notice that it happens. It just... No, that's something that probably doesn't exist, right? But they're really shocked. They're really dismayed whenever a race swap happens. The right wingers say, "Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to see that movie. That really keeps them awake at night. Like, they literally can't sleep if they know you're not going to give your $70 to a multi-billion-dollar corporation. Funny how that works. Let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.